This is the number one reason why men do not respect you. Let's go. You don't know how to tell men that you really like? No. A lot of times when we come across a guy that we really are into, we get stuck on him and it gets really, really hard for us to tell him no. And that's why when he finally texts you back after 5 hours of going ghost, you always reply. If he calls you at 1 o'clock in the morning, you always answer. If he tells you to come over to his house last minute, you run your little tail right on over there. Then respect women who have standards because they can feel it in your energy when they've got you. When there's no competition. They can feel it when they're not putting in any effort, they're being half-assed, and yet they're still getting a whole lot of yeses out of you. That's why it's so important to keep your emotions in check when it comes to a guy that you really like. Because if it's a guy that you're kind of on the fence about, it's a lot easier to uphold your standards. But when it's a guy that we really, really like, it gets so much harder. Don't allow your standards and your boundaries to go out of the window because a guy that's really for you is not going to make you have to compromise your standards in the first place. And know the women on their roster that they can play with and the ones that they can't. So just because you like him, please do not make the mistake of being that man's yes woman. This is the number.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Everything she said is completely true, and like this is, I think one of the biggest issues or one of the biggest things that people have a hard time trying to figure out, as into why, because a lot of women know they are being done wrong or know that the men or the man is manipulating them or knows how to pull them back in or suck them back in, and so it's just a problem or a issue that a lot of women nowadays have a really, really hard time controlling. And I don't know if it's necessarily women dating out of their stratosphere, because I think that has a lot to do with it, because these men most of the time are men that they are predominantly attracted to, because a lot of these guys don't necessarily have a lot going, like positive going on, as far as like a high value man or a man that has his own business or a man that does. Most of the time these are just real good looking guys that are always in the gym, may have a mediocre job, but just real popular. And for some weird reason they run behind and they are attracted to these particular men. And it's a cycle that's just not going to stop anytime soon, just like until they do what this lady said in the video, and that's just set standards, know your value, and not let lust get the best of you, because most of the time that's just what it is. It's that, and it's like a some psychological warfare. It's human nature to want what you can't have. But for some reason, women, that notation or that fact has a much greater effect on them than it does men. Like, they are obsessed with things that they know they can't have. So when you get these modern day men that do the push and pull and know how to play on women's emotions, it sucks them in and pulls them in harder. And a lot of women get in this cycle. They get their heart broke, they get misused, they get cheated on, or whatever you want to call it. And hence that's what turns into what's going on now in the dating here in modern day dating here in the United States.
The truth. Here's the truth. Women rarely say no to the man who owns the frame. Why? Because stepping out of his frame feels like walking away from the fun, the uncertainty, the gravity that only he provides. Think about it. On a first date, she says, "Are you one of those guys who dates a lot of women?" An average guy might sound or say something like, "Oh, no, I promise, I'm really serious about relationships." The top 1% guy will say, "Well, it depends. Are you the jealous type?" Now, who's answering who? I mean, who's chasing who? Exactly. Attraction isn't about lines. It's not about begging for a yes. It's about being the man who defines the reality. Once you own the frame, her no doesn't even exist. In your world, it's always going to be a yes. Trust me on this. Number 2, the yes ladder effect. The yes ladder is the hidden psychology of influence. Okay, women almost never give a big yes right away. Instead, Our brains build momentum through a series of small yeses, tiny agreements, and
Okay, so what she is doing, she is breaking it down. And it's a lot of truth in what she's saying. And to be honest, I'm not even so sure she should be telling a lot of men this, because um most men, the dating and the what they are actually out here trying to do is just that, exactly that, dating around and messing around. They aren't serious about getting settling down. But I don't think that's necessarily the case for the most high value men. And nowadays, and then I want to mention that there are two different types of high value men. There are the high value men solely just upon looks, and then there are the high value men based upon finances, and then you got the 1% of the 1% in high value men, and those are the good looking men with, good finances, that are rich or whatever else. But let's just talk in general about men, high value men, period, whatever category you want to put them in. Just like she said, that man, or those men, set the tone for everything that's going on. And so he has his own motion. He has his own pizzazz. He's got something going on. He's basking in the masculinity, but he is also basking in the fact that he knows he's attractive, or to a lot of women, or even just if it's just one or two or three women he talking to. Once he realizes that he is considered a catch to those women never telling him no, or being there at his beck and call, actually pushes him away. It actually doesn't make him want to pursue them. And it goes back down to the male and female, code of life. Men like to pursue women. The women that come easy to them are the ones that they kind of mess around with, and kind of treat wrong and do wrong in a lot of ways. And so it's a psychological thing. The women have to get their mind right and understand that I can't chase this man if I really do like him. But the problem is that they have the fear of missing out, or the fear of not getting the man that they really want. So they continue to chase and never tell him no. And hence it's a cycle. It's just like if you running towards something and your energy is pushing what you running towards away, and it just goes around and around. And the same goes for the man with his energy. He's pushing away at the woman, and it's pushing her further away, but it's acting in reverse in the same time. So people need to understand the psychology of male and female before getting out here and jumping into the dating world. And I think that is a big caveat to why the modern day dating is falling apart, is because people don't want to play their role. Women don't want to play their role in allowing a man to pursue her, and men most of the time don't want to play their role. And as far as pursuing a good woman, they want what's easy to them. Hence, and when they get what's easy to them, it's not the best women out here. If it's easy, 9 times out of 10, it's been easy for 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 other men, and vice versa on the woman's side. So it's neither here nor there. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button. It goes a long way in helping support the channel. I appreciate everyone's support, but hit the comments down below, and everyone let me know what they think about this situation, because I think it's a very, very key and valid point.